Welcome back! When I pressed the random generated name, it came up with Mandy, so we're gonna accept that. And the start now is gonna be much shorter, and it will just continuously get shorter and shorter and shorter over time. Oh yay! We did progress a chapter. I was afraid that we're not gonna, because we did exactly like 0 research. But it's fine. It's finally here, so this is the infamous Cat Island, the place I will call home for the next 2 months. When I initially received the letter saying I had been placed on a reserves list for a job, I thought that was probably a kind of way of saying no thanks, and put it out of my mind. So imagine my surprise when sometime later I got a call saying that there was an opening for me. Should I still be interested? I have a sudden pang of nerves that it's all a dream and rummage through my bag until I find the proof that puts my mind at ease. Dear Mandy, we are pleased to be able to offer you the position of Research Assistant to Professor Purrfect at Research Facility on Cat Island. No mistake. That's my name right there at the top left corner, and that's his name at the bottom, the genius behind this whole operation, Professor Purrfect. The ferryman comes out from behind the steering wheel and shouts rather brusquely. Take all your belongings, we won't be coming back for days, so don't leave anything you need. Thanks, Skipper. He totally ignores me, so I pick up my bags and disembark. A beefy-looking man who I presume is island security is waiting for me on the jetty. Hello. ID card? Oh, of course. I reach into my back pocket and show the laminated card I was given on the mainland. He barely looks at it before striding off, grunting over his shoulder. This way. I follow him down a dirt track path and get my first proper view of the island. It's beautiful. After no more than a couple of minutes trekking, we're in base camp, which is modest but functional. It's a bit like glamping, really. Here, he stopped at the largest of the tents, indicating that I should go inside. As I enter, the professor looks up from his paperwork. Come in, you must be Mandy. Delighted to have you on board. Thank you, sir, it's an honor to meet you. You must be exhausted after your long journey. Let me offer you some refreshment. Water, coffee, something stronger, perhaps a little whiskey? I would love a cup of tea, if there's a pot on the go. I had a feeling you were going to say that. Try not to get too stuck in your ways, my dear. It's important for a scientist to be flexible and open to new ideas. If you do what you always did, you'll get what you always got. He's looking at me as if he expects a response. Okay, sir, I'll do my best. But I have no idea what he's talking about. Don't expect you to begin work until tomorrow, so I'll just give you your kit and some basic instructions and then leave you to relax for the rest of the evening. Thank you, sir. That sounds great. Okay, so first things first, this is your basic kit. He goes over the pile of the tools and equipment, explaining each of them in turn. It's all standard stuff until... And this is your catalog. He holds up something that looks a little like a mobile phone. Catalog? Yes, it was initially designed to record and store data on the cats, but we come a long way since then. There's even a chipping pen that comes with it to tag cats so that we can keep track of them. It is an extremely valuable piece of equipment, Bandy, and cannot be easily replaced, so I need you to guard it with your life if needs be. I think he's joking at first, but he looks so intense that I decide to take him seriously. Yes, sir, of course I will. Good. You'll get to know all the functions as you go along, but for now I suggest we take a stroll out and see if we can't find a few cats that you can try it out on. So I spend the next hour scanning cats under the watchful eye of the professor. See? Already faster. And it gets faster and faster and faster and faster. As I unpack and settle into my tent, I notice something odd. A little dugout under my bed. I reach in and pull out an unexpected find. The personal journal of the previous research assistant. The one before me. They must have forgotten it or left it behind. It's an absolute goldmine of information. It's going to get me up to speed with how things work around here in no time. However, it seems something else was happening here on the island, something that was troubling them. I get the feeling that there's far more going on here than the professor would have me know. In spite of my increasing tiredness, I continue to read, and the journal gets weirder and weirder to the point where I'm not sure whether I'm still reading or if I've dozed off and I'm now dreaming of talking cats and kidnappings. Eventually I lose the battle and drip into deep sleep. I wake with a start, and it takes me a moment to get my brain into gear. I can hear a scratching sound and the rustling of paper coming from the tent. Flap. It's a cat with something in its mouth. Tent flap. Not tent. Sound of flap flaps. Suddenly, I am wide awake. No! It has the journal! Wait! But it has disappeared into the night. Before I know it, I'm out in the cold of the night, chasing it, running it with all my might. I must get that book back. It has everything I need to know in it. Barefoot, dressed only in a t-shirt and shorts, running at full speed into the forest in the dark of the night. This is familiar. I know! I've read this in the journal. Something similar happened to the previous assistant. Yet here I am, falling into the same trap. That must be crazy. I slow to a stop. I'm thinking I'm going to be sick. I realize, of course, I'm close to the danger zone. Everything goes black and I fall to the ground. Open my eyes. Calico cat, one that I scanned yesterday, is standing in front of me. She drops the journal from her mouth. I pass out. Hello, I say, can you hear me? Are you okay? Here we go again. Move back a bit, let them breathe. Has it been bitten? Sphinx cat is standing over me, staring as I open my eyes. Yes, definitely bitten. Look at his hand. Bring my hand up to my face, and though my blurry vision, I can make out several deep scratches and puncture marks. The cats watch me intently. Is this real? I read something in the journal about kidnapping. Catnapping! We're sorry, it was the only way. You stole the journal. Oh, but I gave it back to you. But why did you take it? To lure you out here, sucker! There's no need for rudeness, Kibbles. My head has begun to clear, and I realize that if I can talk to these cats, not only is it all true, but it's already too late. I have the sickness. We need to have a talk, human. No, we don't. I know what's going on here. I read all about it from your last victim. Now, Kara, that's not very nice. We prefer to think of you as our champion and friend. McMurphy, you silver-tongued Irish charmer. My reputation goes before me. Oh, I know who you all are from the journal. So let's cut to the chase here. We just did that, dummy. You know what I mean. What happens now? That rather depends on you, human. So what do you say? Are you gonna help us or not? Gonna select to help us, and we're gonna try and perfect one single romance, just so that I can show it to you guys and I can show you the proper catification ending. I suppose my fate is already sealed. I may as well do my best to help you sort this mess out. Spoken like a true champion. Well, let's hope this one's better than the last one. Doubt that will be too taxing. Unfortunately, they didn't get very far with discovering an antidote or what happened to our friends. My catalog starts beeping. Oh, my alarm! I have to get to work. Go! And thanks from all of us. Well, the last one got shot in the head. You can't exactly blame her for that. Make it back to the lab fairly quickly, considering how little sleep I've had. Wonder if that's one of the effects of the feline transition? I imagine my agility levels would change. I'm strangely excited about getting to work on the antidote. It's sort of a challenge I love. Just about to enter the lab to begin my legitimate work when the catalog beeps message without any contact information. Some things are best to have been kept to oneself. Ominous. I don't have time to work this puzzle out right now though. I'm already going to be late for work if I don't get a move on. Professor is already working when I arrive, but miraculously I'm not late, so there's no fuss. Get through the day as efficiently as possible and head back to my tent. As soon as my work is done, I want to get to grips with finding out all I can as soon as possible. Yay! We have very little progress on the antidote because our last hero died. So let's not have that happen again. I will do 2 researches in the start because that seems like a great idea. Let's see, field trip, organizing samples. Yeah, why not? Let's groom the kitties. Not all of them are very innocent, some of the researches are really sad. I put on my latex gloves and gather my tools. Brush, scissors, swabs, kitty wipes. Can't help but think I've forgotten something. Ah, of course, treats. I leave the tent and head for the lab, stopping to stroke a few on the island's residents on the way. Meow meow meow! Oh my god. Our face! Honestly, we look cute as a half-cat. Call out the lazing subjects as I enter the lab. Looky, looky, what have I got? I shake the bag of treats, and the small lab erupts with hungry meows. If you want these, you'll have to behave, okay? I open the first crate, home of the grouchy old Mr. Bumble, and I gently lift him onto the counter to be groomed. Morning, Grumpy. Let me check your ears. No dribbies, lovely. I have a feeling you may have been discharged in the next day or 2. He was brought in with a mild infection, slight temperature, weepy eyes, but he seems to have recovered remarkably well. In fact, I'm going to recommend to Professor Popper that we release him by the end of the week. I give Mr. Bubble a cheeky cuddle before I begin to brush his matted fur. Well, where does it all come from? There's enough fur here to make another cat. Mr. Bumble is beginning to get agitated and lets out a displeased grumble. I know, it's very annoying. Just got to trim you up a bit and then we can get back to sleep. He resignedly lets me cut some of the hair around his bum and the back of his hind legs. Aren't you a good boy? Here we go, nom nom. I pour some of the little fish-shaped treats onto the counter and the ragamuffin practically inhales them. Now, let's get you back into your cozy crate. Tuck him away and open the next one. Your turn, Socks. Just a cut in color, yeah? I snort at my own joke and begin brushing the little white cat. It's a lot more lively than old Bumble and keeps trying to bite the brush. Hey, don't make me get the harness, Socks. That's no fun for either of us. The cat seems to understand and settles down, only giving the brush an occasional nip when he thinks I won't notice. Oh, hello, what's this? I notice a little red patch on his neck just under his chin. Oh no, we don't have botflies, do we? Poor Socksy. Take the magnifying glass out of my inner pocket and examine the inflamed area closer. Ouch! Socks begins to struggle away from me. He must be in quite a lot of discomfort. It's okay, Socks, I'm just looking. Stroke the little cat to try and calm him down. I hate using sedatives on subjects unless it's absolutely necessary. After a while, I'm able to get a better look at the room. There doesn't seem to be anything living under there. I'm relieved I don't have to deal with any botflies. It looks strange. It's like a rash or a sore, but I'm not sure how or where he could have picked it up. I'm worried about how to proceed. Should I just clean it with some saline solution and let the air get to it? Or should I put some of Professor Soothing Cream 116 on it and wrap it in gauze? I know that this isn't a very good thing. I know from my previous playthrough. But I haven't clicked this option, so cream. Cream 116 is designed for conditions like this, so I suppose that's what I should use. As I approach, Socks arches his back and puffs his fur, surprised by his reaction. He's normally quite a brave little soldier. Maybe it stings? I dab a little of the cream onto my arm to see what the effect is. After a few minutes, I realize what a twit I'm being. A cream designed for a cat is hardly going to affect my skin. I get on with the job in hand and apply the cream to very peeved Socks. Later that evening, I notice a small patch of smooth, pale skin on my arm and realize that hair has rubbed off. And that's not a great sign. What did we unlock? Is it the continuation of that story? Because some of these are. Okay, let's test in the labs. My stomach is queasy. I really don't want to do this. It's strange, I'm used to treating subjects with medication and injections, but something about this does not feel right. Hello, you. I smile at the gentle cat on the table in front of me. I look at the syringe in my hand. Turn to the professor. What are we testing for with these meds again? He looks up from his desk. Is there a problem, Mandy? I've already told you, it's supposed to stimulate hair growth. Why do we need to stimulate hair growth? Why indeed? However, ours is not the question why, Mandy. Dislikes of you and I perform the tasks set out by people who pay our wages, such as life, eh? Professor returns to his work and I understand that conversation's over. I look back at the little cat. His name is Smokey. He is a Lycoy cat with very short, fine hair. A real sweetie. I suppose the professor is right. This is just my job, and although I feel terrible, I find a way to ignore the pangs of guilt and inject Smokey with the medication. He squeals, but it's over quickly, and he can return to his cage. How long does this usually take? Professor looks up again, slightly irritated. I don't know, Mandy, but you're being paid to find that out, aren't you, my dear? Oh yes, of course. I make a note of the time and observe the cat. After 5 minutes, there is no noticeable change. 10 minutes, still no change. After half an hour, I think I notice his hair looks a little different, but I suspect my eyes are playing tricks on me. 1 hour in, and all of a sudden I can see the hair is visibly longer and seems to be continuing to grow. I must say I'm very impressed and a little confused. I decide to take a tea break. Smokey seems content to nap for a while. Can I get you a cup of tea, Professor? Oh no, I don't know how you can tolerate that false stuff they brew in this mess of a tent. I have my thermos of coffee here, thank you. Fair enough, I'll be back in a bit. I'd only been gone for 10 minutes at most, but as I enter with my mug of tea, I instantly notice the drama taking place in Smokey's cage. I find it hard to stifle a laugh. Oh my goodness, Professor, have you seen this? Professor looks up, exasperated by another interruption, but then he notices the cage. Oh dear! Well, don't just stand there, Mandy, get him out! I open the front of the cage and pull out the large hair ball that Smokey has turned into. His fur tumbles over my arm as I cradle the bewildered cat. Well, I never! Very interesting, isn't it, Mandy? I think it's still growing, Professor. I do believe you're right. Perhaps we should consider clippers. Professor hands me a small set of silver electric clippers and I immediately began using them on the ever-expanding Smokey. I continued to shave for the next 15 minutes until he finally seems to run out of fur. My, that's a lot of hair! We both stand staring at the pile of fur at our feet. Just keep a small amount for testing and put the rest of it back. Mora can dispose of it later. Mora? Miss Marigold. Excellent work today, Mandy. Most interesting findings. Thank you, sir. Although the results had nothing to do with me, I'm left feeling a tad guilty about Smokey's ordeal. As I place him back in his cage, I check for any signs of trauma, and when satisfied he's okay, Awkwardly take my leave. I will do one recon, then I'll sleep, then I'll do romance, then I'll do recon again. Recon 7. Snoots has brought me something intriguing. I better check it out. Mandy, are you still sleeping? You really ought to be awake by now. Snooty Booty, are you okay? What are you doing in my tent? All this lazing about is very bad for your complexion, to say nothing about the dragging effects on the delicate tissue around the eyes. Is there something I can help you with? Possibly. I have something I want you to look at. Right now? What time is it? Time you were active. Come along. Well, at least let me get ready. Very well. Snooty Booty sits down and starts grooming herself. After a moment, she looks up again. Why aren't you ready yet? Can you leave the tent so that I can get dressed? For goodness sake. Snooty Booty rolls her eyes and walks out. I get dressed, resignedly, and follow her. What do you think it is? I'm intrigued. We are on the beach staring at partially buried bottles sealed inside a plastic bag. It looks though it has only recently washed up. Well, there's really only one way to find out. I pulled the bottle out of the sand. It has some sort of document or a note in the bag along with the bottle. What is that thing? Read it to me. It's a good thing I'm just as curious as Snooty, or I would be feeling a lot more irritable right now. Carefully unseal the bag and unfold the paper. Read the note out loud. Initial tests on the most recent formula are encouraging. Subjects 6 through 18 appeared visibly younger. Moderate to severe side effects noted, including increasing hair growth and marked mood alteration. Subjects 1 through 5 had major complications. Some new small tumors, skin irritation, partial blindness, and memory loss. We need you to look into this. Check for contaminants and continue to iterate on the formula. Appeared visibly younger? Snooty Booty, is that the most important thing you gathered from this report? You're quite right, Mandy. We ought not to trust it. That note could have been written by anyone. We shall conduct our own experiment. Apply the cream to my skin. Have you lost your mind, Snooty Booty? Did you not hear what I read out? Tumors, blindness, memory loss. Statistics bore me. You should know that by now. Let's live a little. I'm willing to take the risk in the name of science. No, we're not taking any risks, Snooty Booty. You wait here while I go and get my kit back from the lab. Let's see if we can't work out what this stuff is made out of. I was hoping the lab would be free, but the professor is in there making some notes. Hello, Mandy. I thought you were taking a day off from the lab today. Oh yes, I am, Professor. It's just that I wanted to check something. I can't take the test equipment away without the professor getting suspicious. If you have to come up with some kind of excuse. Make up an excuse. Well, I wanted to get ahead on some of the field work. There are some samples I found that I think could be useful. Pick up the field kit bag. Popper looks up from his work. Oh, what sort of samples? Have to make this believable, but I also invite no other questions. These samples are fecal. Fecal? Yeah, a large poo, sir. It has rather interesting properties. Jolly good. Off you go then. Nailed it. I take the bag and leave. As I approach the beach, it becomes clear Snooty Booty has managed to break into the ointment. She appears to have spilled some and is now busy rolling around in it. Snooty Booty, what were you thinking? This could be very dangerous. The only danger here is this ghastly sand sticking to my delicate skin. Do help me get rid of it, Mandy. I tried to wipe the sand off, but it was stuck like glue. Underneath the layer of sand, I can see her skin is very pink. There's no time to lose. Pick her up and run to the ocean, trying to use the seawater to clean off as much of the ointment as I can. Put me down! What on earth? Never been so humiliated in my life! She twists out of my grip and scampers off in a huff. I think I got it all off, so I leave her to it. Now back to the samples. There's not much I can do here on the beach, so I'll just have to wait until Professor Popper has finished in the lab. Well, that was quick. As luck would have it, the professor needed to retire to his tent earlier than usual. He has to read some research papers that arrived from the mainland this morning. So now I can continue looking into this ointment. I begin by testing the substances for several common compounds found in cosmetics, but it's negative for all of them. I widen the tests for other organic compounds. I get a match. About 30% of the ointment is cat saliva? If they're using saliva from the cats on the island, they could be infecting all of their test subjects with catification. But where have these other side effects come from? I run the ointment again, and this time looking for known pharmaceuticals. Before I can get the results back, Snooty Booty comes throttling in. I just thought you should know that the security guard is coming this way. You should make yourself scarce before he arrives. Not that I care what happens to you after you threw me into the ocean. I've no time to finish this experiment now, but I will work on it later in the privacy of my tent. Take my things and run before Zane arrives. Okay, this is important. We're gonna sleep now. You had a lovely nap and wake up feeling revitalized. Your energy has been restored. Magic! Let's do the rest of recon before we start romance. We're doing a proper run, guys! Or at least one recon. Trixie has been telling me about a strange phenomenon nearly Rockpool. I decided it's probably worth checking out. I've taken some time off today so that Trixie can show me the water pools she's been telling me about. I've had some sample bottles in my backpack, along with some food and a blanket. If it's nice, we can have a picnic lunch there. So, these pools appear to be different colors? They don't appear to be, homie. They are. Well, we can't prove that until we tested them. Reflection, refraction, and dispersion can play some fancy tricks on the eye. Pooh to your testing. You take all the magic away, science person. Makes your world very dull, I think. Maybe you're right, Trixie. Let's wait and see what wonders you are gonna show me, hey? That's right, this way. She disappeared from sight. I run to the cliffside where she was walking and looking over the edge, and I can see that she jumped to a small rock shelf about 4 meters down from where I stood. Come on, you can do it. Don't be a fraidy cat. More concerned about how I will get back up again, actually. There are kind of steps further along, but this way is closer to the entrance. Not wanting to appear too much of a killjoy, I clamber over the edge and lower myself down, dropping the last few feet. Impressive! You're getting a feline spring in your step? If you say so. I'm worried I may have twisted my ankle, but I don't want to say anything. Follow me, Springy! She disappeared again. It's like keeping up with a jackrabbit. Follow my voice. And suddenly an alarming sound is coming from between two rock faces. It's high-pitched, screeching, and very loud. I squeeze through the crevice, and I'm in what looks like a cave without a ceiling. Trix, stop! The sound is so amplified in this enclosure it has become deafening. Sorry, Humi. It just feels so good. Have a try. What? Yell, shout, scream, sing at the top of your voice, loud as you can. Really? I feel self-conscious, but I'm dying to have a go. You only live once, and it's so fabulous. She makes the noise again, and this time I join in. It's fantastic. The acoustics are something else. It's like an amphitheater. Eventually, we run out of steam, and I flop to the ground, exhausted but exhilarated too. After we have cut out of breath, I'm ready to push onwards. We'd better get on if we don't want to be back too late. We're here. I'm surprised. I was expecting something more impressive, I suppose. This is the place? I look around, and for the first time I notice several small pools of water, not much larger than puddles, around the edges of the enclosure. Oh, I see. I bend down next to the nearest pool and see straight away that it's deepest red. Looks like blood? Look at mine, like liquid sky. I cross to the opposite side where Trixie is sitting, and sure enough, there is clear as richest blue water. And melted emeralds. Again, I follow her to find another pool as green as spring foliage. Then another of deepest purple. One of orange, yellow, pink? Well, it certainly is as amazing as you said, Trix. How strange that they're all so different. What's causing it? It has to be a trick of the light. Put your hand in. Well, I'm not sure that's a good idea. There could be any number of bacteria making this happen. Best not to touch until we're sure it's safe. Done it lots, it's fine. I glance over and sure enough, she has her furry little paws in the golden colored water. Somewhat reassured, I scoop some of the blue water and sniff it. It smells wonderful, as though it has been perfumed. For all you know, the yellow puddle is safe, but the blue isn't. What is that smell? It's weirdly familiar. I take out my bottles and begin collecting waters. My theory about the light is blown when the line bottles up together and each retain their original hue. Something is dyeing the water. Can't wait to get back to the lab and run some tests. We can go back the easy way if you like. Follow me. We head back along the rock shelf and go past the spot we jumped down on the way here. Further along there is an ascent, just as Trixie had said, but I would hardly call it steps. Someone has clearly tried to make a trail here, but it's all a bit rough and ready. Further along still I can make out a large empty metal drum. It's rusted, obviously discarded some time ago. I get a closer look and see that there's a tap near the base and contains of a label, but I can barely make out the words. Take a picture of it with my catalog to decipher later. The perfume I smell in the cave seems to be stronger here. I'm very intrigued. Trixie couldn't be less interested in all of this. She's happily skipping along ahead, looking for a good picnic spot. For us, I will have to be patient with my investigations. Daytime. Mostly because we do not have another recon. See? We need to date Catsies to unlock recons. That's how it works.